Hello there, guys. What's up? Hope everybody's doing really well today. Hopefully, you can all hear me. We're doing a little bit of gold analysis today. Had a decent day on gold yesterday, actually. We looked at the potential short opportunity on here on stream yesterday back to VWAP, and we actually moved a lot lower again down to sort of the previous area of volume throughout the day. So that was a really nice setup. I took a setup short earlier, but I'm now kind of looking at the potential flip of this, looking for a potential long. Now we're coming into the US session. Obviously, I like to kind of look at potential mean reversion. So basically looking to see if there's any kind of opportunity to be a buyer, but there's a couple of levels that I am looking at the moment. So good afternoon, Vincent. I'm doing really well. I hope you're doing well too. Bruce, good afternoon. And CG, good afternoon to you as well. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on gold today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of live stuff here. Really like the downside in the morning because all the volume was being built above yesterday's value area. So we had the value area high in here, which is something that I'm expecting price to go and revisit at the moment, go and potentially target. And we've got the value area low down here. So I like the idea of price potentially doing something like this today with a move back down towards that sort of value area. I like the idea of combining the previous days sort of volume with a potential opportunity on the VWAP here. So, at the moment we're trading more down towards the third deviation here. We can see that we've been trending down all day. This to me is a potential idea now to try and get set up in a potential long here. But so I'm just waiting, just seeing how price builds here right now. See if we get any kind of buying action coming back into the market. I can see that we're starting to get a little bit back right now. But yeah, essentially we had this kind of consolidation around VWAP today. And, the theory is essentially lots of buying and selling going on. VWAP is an area where a lot of algos will get involved into the market. So, I like the idea of price trying to go into seek volume. We've got a lot of volume that got built up here a little bit earlier. If we take a look at the volume profile here on this 3-minute time frame, I'll just pop it onto midday. You can see all the volume being built above current price. So my theory is that we will probably go and seek that again. So I'm looking for basically some kind of setup here in terms of, do we get a little bit more downside into yesterday's value area high? And then when we're at value area high, do we start to see a bit of a price action setup where we get sort of a break in structure on the lower time frames, or sort of a break here in the Renkos? Ideally, or alternatively, because we are in the deviation bands at the moment, let's say price kind of rallies back up towards sort of 238, 250, back towards these kind of highs here. If we then kind of form a potential like little head and shoulders pattern, I like the idea of that as well, basically. So if I look at that from a sort of 3-minute time frame perspective down here, if we rally all the way back up towards these highs, kind of close near these highs, and then get a little bit of a pullback, that ideally as well could be a good little area to start buying back to VWAP as well, as you can see on both charts there. So looking at that potential on gold right now, we'll see how this kind of plays out. I can see obviously we did have a little bit of buying coming back in. Is that just the start of a potential move back to the upside? Potentially. My Renkos here are set to $1 each. But yeah, earlier, basically, this is what I was looking at earlier. So I haven't held this trade. I came out down at the deviation bands about 1 to 1. But this is what I was kind of thinking in my head. There was this nice little sort of pullback into VWAP there, consolidation on the Renkos. We broke that consolidation, so I ended up taking a short. And I like the idea of price going to target this value area high of yesterday. But we've also got this low here to contend with at the moment. That price seems to be finding a little bit of support in at the moment as well. So that low kind of coincides with this little area looking left. So you can see, obviously, we found support here yesterday before seeing a continuation to the upside. And price is kind of finding a little bit of a support here now as well. So like I said, I think if we get a little bit of a rally out of price, come back down, maybe a failure again to kind of make a new low, that's something that would appeal to me for a potential long idea back towards that VWAP there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. I can take a couple of these things off now. But yeah, we'll see how it performs. You know, if it doesn't break this low right now, that low there, then this could be the spot that price turns around. If it does, then like I said, I like the idea of price coming back into areas of volume. And if we look at yesterday's volume profile, we've got this situation going on where you've got large pocket of volume down here towards that 2370 handle. And then you've got the sort of volume that was built up. And we were kind of in that low volume period. As soon as we kind of took out the large volume that was being built up today, we're in that sort of low volume. And price can move fairly quickly in that sort of period. So, yeah. That's why my theory is there of terms of looking at maybe a bit of a continuation for a very short period before price comes into this area potentially. So that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. Obviously, if we take a look at the sort of higher time frame here, let me just go back to a candlestick chart and I'll just go to the daily. Let's go to the hourly time frame here. You know, price is bullish. You know, you can clearly see that we're making higher highs and higher lows. You know, this volume area coincides with these candlesticks. And this is something that we always talk about. You know, when you get that sort of consolidation and then a breakout, price can come back to that volume. That's what I'm thinking is potentially happening here right now, which kind of starts where that value area high of yesterday is. And that's where I'm looking to do potential business with the market. You know, do we get a little bit of a move like that? You can see I've also got an anchored VWAP on here, and price is above the anchored VWAP. So again, it's telling us that there's more. Obviously, there's more buying in the market as well. You can clearly see that because of price anyway. But it's just a nice visual indicator for us. So you don't usually see me do a lot of day trading on the channel. But yeah, day trading, I like to use sort of Renko's volume profile, VWAP. You know, I don't get a lot of opportunities to show you this, so I thought I'd start showing you on the live streams, basically, to see if there's any kind of interest in that. Let me know what you guys are trading, though, if there's any interesting markets moving. Obviously, we had some data out today as well. We had the initial jobless claims coming in a little bit higher than forecasted. So that was an interesting bit of data coming out. We obviously had data out of Australia as well. Let me just flick over to the Aussie US dollar starting to pull back a lot as well, though. Even despite that sort of decent number. So if I just actually bring in, let's have a little look at that economic calendar. Okay. Squishing in them a little bit. So yeah, had Oz employment change. Actual came in at 38.5, so above the forecasted 22.4s. Obviously, previously it was quite bearish. Oz employment rate did rise to 4.1%. So that is a little bit of a, I suppose, bit of mixed data there. You had like an initial good bit of data, then followed by that sort of bit of poor bit of data there. So Aussie is a bit of a mixed move. And then we had the unemployed claims, out of the US, 222K. So that has come down. So I think what we would have liked to have seen from a US standpoint is they would like to have seen this number higher than the previous number, especially when it comes to the labour market. So that's what their a little bit of concern is at the moment, potentially, is that fact that those unemployment claims aren't seen to be rising, which, labour market is a big part of what's going on in the US at the moment, especially with inflation and whatnot. So let me just pop that back up there. Dollar stronger across the board, to be fair, at the moment, which is interesting. We're coming into some big levels of support and resistance at the moment in terms of US dollars. So we are seeing that little bit of dollar strength starting to come back into the market at the moment. I'm just going to take a little bit off one of my shorts at the moment on gold, and I'll leave one run in there, see if we can get a little bit more downside, because I still like the idea of targeting that value area high. Bruce, Aussie yen short from 103.32. Okay, let's go take a look at Aussie yen. Let me just come out of this a second. Let's go to an hourly time frame. Let's go head over to Aussie yen. Aussie yen, here we go. So yeah, looking for a short on Aussie yen. Is that short from 103.32? Just a little bit down here, so just a little bit offside. TP 101.32s. Let's have a little look at the higher time frame here. Yen's a funny market. I haven't actually traded the yen for a while, to be honest. Been trying to kind of stay away from it a little bit. So yeah, I've been trying to kind of keep away from the yen a little bit. And I did expect a little bit of Aussie bullishness this week. I like the idea of being sort of pound Oz short from these kind of swing highs here. Aussie starting to give a little bit of that back. Against the yen, though, might be a little bit of a tough call, but I can see the theory. I can see we're up at this kind of previous area of resistance. Looking at the 4-hour time frame. Looking at the weekly, though, I think the weekly would definitely put me off. We're definitely bullish here on the weekly side of things. Same with the daily chart. Daily is still bullish as well. I like the fact that we have potentially formed a lower high, lower low pattern there. But from the short side, I think that's a tricky one. Tricky one from the short side. I mean, I like the resistance here. But yeah, that's a tricky one, that one, Bruce, I think. Hopefully it goes well for you, though. Coming up into the standard deviation bands there. So hopefully that can turn around for you there. Vincent Long dollar CAD from 136. Okay, so still looking at that dollar play. Nice. We looked at that, didn't we, yesterday, and you're still long dollar CAD from 136. So yeah, I mean, I like that potential move there. I like the low risk aspect of it, put it that way. Especially if we look at this hourly chart now, we've come into the 136 handle, we consolidated, and then we've breached that and we're moving to the upside. So, I mean, that looks like a good area of volume again, doesn't it? So the market may want to come back into that period here. And then if you see a kind of bounce away from that, then you could expect maybe a little bit more upside towards that sort of 137 area. But yeah, like that consolidation may get a little bit of a pull back into that. So, maybe that could be a good area. So let's say this is a good opportunity actually in terms of talking about risk again. Like we said, you don't need to put the house on immediately, right? So you've got this area here and you like 136, you can just go, brilliant, I'm going to hit 0.25% trade there because that's where I think something could happen. And then as the market starts to develop, you get more information. The more information you get, the more sort of idea that you think price may do what you want to do. So maybe price comes into this area of structure, forms a nice sort of bullish rejection. You think, okay, well, maybe we're going to continue to seek higher now. So another 0.25% in and around that area there. Market, if it continues up, gives you a nice little lower high again, higher low, sorry, again. You can look for 0.25. And then you've started to sort of build a low risk position into the market, because by the time you're in this area here, you can look to either take some profits off your original trade or at least bring your stop loss up. So you're not risking all that much as price, continues higher. That's the idea, especially when you're looking at sort of markets. If you start to see price go in your favor, then yeah, look to add in on those pullbacks, right? But just be careful of the initial entry. I think the initial entry is where you should, risk the least. Yes, it could be your best price, but it's also your almost more likely to be stopped out at that point, aren't you? If I was taking a short here, for instance, and my stop loss was just above that high, and I got short here, price doesn't have to do much to knock me out of that position. So this is the high risk area, right? You may think it's low risk because you're in a downtrend and you're trading from a high, but it's a high risk area because price could break through it there before kind of making its move to the downside. The more sort of, or the I like to say more conservative style of trading is to wait for the break again and then look for the lower high. So, to me, that is an area more of interest. So if you wanted to take a sort of a higher area point of view, you could go, okay, well, again, 0.25 there, when it breaks, 0.25, and add in as it goes, because then at least if you do lose your initial trade, you're not too sort of, I don't know, emotional around the trade. Then you're not going to try and chase the market. I've been applying that for, and 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. It doesn't have to be 0.25. That's just something that I do. But like, if you could go in at like 0.5%, if I think something's really good and I think I'm in a really good level, like higher time frame level, blah blah blah, I'll be like, right, okay, I'm going 0.5 here, 0.5, because if I lose 0.5%, it's not the end of the day. But if you, let's say you try to get in short here, but you get stopped out 3 times before it goes, then you're gonna be really frustrated. You're gonna get really, really frustrated. Just move my light here a second. Just watching gold still as well. We started to get a little bit of a push towards the level, but it's starting to give us a little bit of fluctuation now, which is not surprising, because we are coming into sort of the open at 230, so it's not too surprising there. Just looking for how many more points do I need? 25 more points. If it can drop 25 more points, I'd be happy, because then it brings us into that level of the value area high that we were discussing. Just go here, Renko it up again. So we're approaching that value area high now. So I might take some more position off here. Let's see if we can just get that last little dip into the value area high. Okay, I'm going to cover that now. I'm going to take that off. Okay, so yeah, right. Got that nice little push there. That was nice. Now we're coming into the value area high. I can take a bit more off. Okay. So yeah, right. Okay, now we can start looking potentially for some long ideas, right? Because we're coming into this area of volume from yesterday. We're coming into that US Open now. So this is where I like to think, are we going to get a mean reversion? You know, price has been bullish. If we look at the volume profiles here on a 30-minute time frame, you can see the volume profiles are getting higher as well. So that tells us a story without having to look at the price action. And you can see yesterday's value area highs here. And you can see, look, we're starting to get a little bit of a reaction from it already. So I see that buying coming in right now. So essentially, what would I look to target? So I look to target VWAP because VWAP is, you know, a good target for this. Let me just make sure that's still on $1. Traditional box size $1. A lot of chop there. Repainted a little bit, but that's still $1. And we started to see that sort of push back up now. You know, so this is what I like to see. You know, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback here now, a little bit of breaking trend would be nice, and then I can start looking to try and get in it towards VWAP there. We've got volume here, right? Again, short period of consolidation, volume, consolidation up here where I took my earlier shorts, volume. So is the US basically going to take this up and try and take these areas of volume now? Okay. That's what I want to be looking for. This is the value area high here that we're looking at. So this could be a good spot. And again, don't need to bet the house here. Do not need to bet the house here. You know, we've got potential that we've been down all morning. We've been down all morning. We're coming into the US Open now. Could we see that start to see a bounce back up towards VWAP there? Market is bullish anyway, you know, so I'm looking to see that's where I want to sort of target. Okay. Now I'm looking at the 3-minute down here. You can see we've got multiple highs that could be sort of broken, and that's good. So essentially all I need to wait for now is I just need to wait. You know, there's no, like I said, there's no need to rush. It's all about being super calm. No need to FOMO ourselves into anything. But what we need to wait for is confirmation. Now, it's harder to see on candlestick charts. If you had access to data, level 2 data, then, you know, you've got access to seeing the buyers and sellers on footprint charts and whatnot. It's a little bit easier to see where the buy-ins actually come in. What we have to do is try and gauge that by sort of participation. You know, you can see that long wick to the downside came right into that value area high. Good level to look for long opportunities from. You know, hopefully we get the sort of pullback, which allows us to try and get onto a move up to VWAP there. But this is what I always talk about, guys. Look at the consolidations within the market. They are periods of volume, you know, so that's what I'm looking for. We might get a little bit of volatility now because we're heading into the open there. So we're going to see volatility. So we just need to kind of ignore it a little bit. Vincent, I've taken that into consideration. You're welcome. Tabo, loving the gold trade. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Now, obviously, you're probably looking at the Renkos thinking that that's just going mental, but $1 of movement will print a block, okay? $1 of movement will print a block, and that's what we've got. So you can see on this, I have a candlestick chart here as well, just to give me a little bit more information as well. But you can see that movement there to that movement there was, you know, probably about $3 worth of movement before seeing a movement back down of $3. So that's why we've got this creation of this here at the moment. Ideally, I wouldn't mind seeing the open happen, you know, in 5 minutes. Let the noise kind of go around for a bit. Now we also have to understand, right, where's our risk going to be? Right, let's plan the trade. Let's think about where our risk going to be. I'm talking about potential longs here at the value area high. So reason why I'm talking about that is because auction market theory suggests that if price is above a previous day's value area, you can look for the value area high for potential continuations. What I don't want to see is price being accepted back within value. Okay. If we get accepted back within yesterday's value area there, then auction market theory suggests that we could see a move down to the other side of value. I don't want to see that. If I want to be long, that is the opposite of what I want to see. So I need to know where I'm going to be wrong in the market. And looking at sort of the volume nodes here, I'd say like that area there is probably our sort of last ditch area of support. So I can see that there's that large volume coming through here. So anything sort of below, if I just grab my cursor tool, 2369 sort of below that area, maybe 2367 is going to be my cutoff point for longs. Okay, that's going to be my cutoff point, because we could, with mean reversion, we've got to understand that we're going against the lower time frame trend. Okay, so you can probably see here, the market's making lower highs, lower lows. So naturally, you don't necessarily want to go against that. And that's what we're kind of looking for today. That's why first targets will always be VWAP, because price could continue down from VWAP. I'll come into the later stages of the week. You can see the anchored VWAP here is a little bit lower. So if we were to kind of get accepted back within value, that could be a target for price as well. So we might have to flip the bias on a day trading scale if we do see a breach into the value area, which is not something I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for price to reject yesterday's value. I'm looking for it to continue higher. You could bring the daily closes into this. If we look at yesterday's close, strong bullish candlestick closing towards these previous highs. So it is coming into an area where we could see a little bit of a flip over. And that's why I like the idea of being short from the value area high that formed on Friday, the 19th of April. But I want to see if that momentum can continue higher here for gold. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get a little sort of cheeky long. But we've got to wait for the right setup. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you want to see me do more streams like this. Just kind of looking at the market, looking at sort of areas of opportunity. Let me know if you like this or not. I'll keep doing more of these. Maybe we'll do like a live gold session, maybe once a week or something. We can keep the start of the week as the week ahead analysis. Maybe we'll do Thursdays or something like this. Hi, pound US dollar for short on 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's have a little look at that. I'm liking this little bit of price action here on the Renko. This is where we were talking about the could you see that sort of head and shoulders forming there? That could be our potential move up. Not really seeing much reflected there on the 3-minute time frame, apart from the fact that we're sort of consolidating there, but we've got like 10 seconds until sort of US cash open. So I'm going to go over to cable. Let's have a little look. Cable, you're looking at 4-hour short. I would say not yet. If I look at the daily time frame, we've obviously come up into a level of resistance, which is great. 127 handle resistance there. We have obviously breached the trend line resistance now and breached 126, which was a level I thought that if we did breach 127 was highly likely, which we've now seen a test of. The thing is, if you want the 4-hour to start moving lower, again, it's kind of looking at the higher probability move. It looks great right now, but the momentum is definitely with the upside. So I would say, if price came back in, then failed maybe to make a new high, then that would be where I think, okay, well, this could be a start to a potential reversal. If it does then reverse and then you get the lower high, lower low pattern, then that's when I think the stronger opportunity may be. It's like down here, if you were looking to get short on this consolidation, maybe, this volume area, and price kind of flushes the other side of it. If you were trying to get short in here, that's great, but a stronger short would have been something where you got another sort of lower high. We had lots of strong buying coming back in. So very similar to that, if you can get a bit of obviously that was a news driven event, so it's a little bit different, but if you can get that sort of double top situation going on, then yeah, I quite like that because you're at that 127 resistance. But just understand what kind of phase you're in the market right now. I know that I'm in a bullish 4-hour phase here, but I'm in a secondary phase of that. So let's say, for instance, you're on your lower time frame and you're trying to trade your lower time frame. Very similar to gold right now. I would say if you saw a break in your 15-minute, then a move back up to 127 is more likely, because that would almost be like the trend, lower time frame trend syncing up with your higher time frame trend again. So yeah, I like the idea of being short because you've come up into 127. A good area to target would be down towards 125.67 because you've got, like I said, that period of consolidation again, volume. If the market wants to go higher, it will probably seek volume first before doing so. So I like the idea of being short there. I would just say maybe wait a little bit longer, see if you get the sort of lower high first, because that can give you a better, a higher probability opportunity is what I should say. So I hope that makes sense. Still pulling down here on gold. And this is why I like to wait for the open, because you can get a little bit of a flush down. So I'd like to see how we get a little bit of a reaction here. And again, like I said before, if you think that this is a good level to be involved with, or if I think it's a good level to be involved with, that I don't have to go in full whack here. I could go in like 0.1, 0.2, 0.25% risk just to try and catch the earlier move. Okay, so just think about that a little bit. Basically watching that volume there. Can that hold essentially? Seeing that in the layout so you can see it a bit better. Didn't mean to do that. There's the undo button. Let me go. This one? Yeah, this one. See, we can even see on the minute time frame here in the bottom right hand corner, we've got no break in trend really yet. We've got no significant closes above previous highs right now. Everything is still pushing lower. There's the alert of the value area high. So, our first sign could potentially come with the market trying to break these highs. Like I said, second option, I don't really want to see it close back within value if I want to be long. So ideally, I don't want to see a close there. This is a 30-minute time frame, by the way, up here. So I've got plenty of time on that one. Now I'm going to be like, I should have held my shorts. But we'll wait. Wait and see what happens there. Let's see what currencies are on the volatility meter at the moment. Volatility. So looking at the currency volatility meter at the moment, the yen's one of the most volatile currencies right now. So that makes mean reversion trading quite good. Pound one of the lowest at the moment, as well as euro. But dollar's looking quite good on volatility at the minute. Let's have a little look at the VIX. Let me just flick back over to the VIX. What is the VIX doing today? Okay, so the VIX is up a little bit today. Not anything amazing. It's up a little bit though, so maybe into the US session we'll start to see a little bit of a sort of stock decline. I can see the natural gas up 3% again today. Not really looked at nat gas recently. You can see we're starting to see a little bit more upside in oil. Bitcoin started to break a little bit higher. This is something I talked about on Blueberry Markets newsletter on cryptos. You got this kind of head and shoulders pattern, and we've started to see that sort of break now. So we might see a move up to 72,750. That is if you are a sort of crypto CFD trader, if that's something that floats your boat. I mean, I said VIX was higher in the day. Look at the VIX. Look at the VIX. Really low again. We're coming into some real big lows here on the VIX. Showing us that volatility really low. Wow, yeah, looking at gas. I thought I'd go on the nat gas chart and have a little look. It's a weekly chart, that is. Breaking through these kind of these trend highs will be of interest now for those traders. Get some beautiful trends out of the commodities. Some really beautiful trends. If you were a trend-based trader and you were looking at your sort of 50 and 200 moving average, nat gas is absolutely stunning when it comes to that. Look at these little lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Just absolutely beautiful looking chart when it comes to trend. Again, if we look over here, look at that. If you were just looking to buy above the 50 MA, look at all those potential longs you could have had on a market that's clearly very, very bullish at the moment. Wonder if the stochastic oscillator pointed that out to us. So it dipped above it here back on the 14th of April. Big move now. Nice. Anybody still trading that gas at the moment? I like the look of palladium a while ago, but I haven't even kept up to date with that really. HK50 as well. And we're talking about longs all the way down here. That's performing really well at the minute. Another one to have a little look at for trend traders though. So right now, it doesn't look like we're going to get the bounce right now. It looks like the market's more looking to be accepted in this value area, but we are coming into, look at the deviations there. You know, I look at these, a situation like this where we've been bearish all day, and it you know, makes me think that we're going to see a snap back to VWAP at some point. You know, if we take a look at sort of yesterday's price action, you know, we talked about, sorry, Wednesday, was it when? Yeah, Wednesday. Sorry. I've live streamed 3 times this week, so I felt like today was, yesterday was Thursday. You know, we had this kind of move up. We were bullish pretty much all day, had a nice ping back to VWAP, bullish again, nice ping back to VWAP. You know, that's what I'm looking to do. Come to the VWAP deviations and then look to try and trade back to those points. If I can combine that up with volume profile as well, that would be great. I mean, look at this day here, you know, pretty bullish all day. And I pretty much scalped 2 moves down towards VWAP. Obviously, I didn't get my full targets, but took a little piece out of the market. And here also, we had that breakout, scalped up to that volume area there. Price did continue lower. So it's not, you know, saying nothing's a guarantee when it comes to trading. But this area to me makes a whole lot of sense where you've got a lot of volume, standard deviations or the prices away from the mean. We've got volume built in here. And just starts to make a little bit of sense to me. But we need to see buys come in, because if buys don't come in, then it's pointless. And at the moment, are we seeing buys coming in? Not particularly. Don't think we've got any more dates coming up today either. We just go down to medium impact and I'll have a look. No, nothing until tomorrow. Looks like the Dow Jones came really, really close to the all-time highs yesterday. Might be something going on, considering we're not seeing any really kind of bearishness coming in here or bullishness right now. We're just kind of sitting at this level. So I'd like to have seen a big push into the level, big push away. That would have been more ideal. But we're not really seeing much action going on here right now. So, and this is the part of trading where they say, you know, trading super exciting. It is, when you get the right setup. So, like, ideally, what I'd really want to see right now is some kind of move like this, especially reflected on the Renkos, because you can see how clean the price action is there than over here. I'll give it another 10 minutes or so, see if we get any kind of action. Looks like we might have to be waiting for a little bit. Maybe the market's just cooling off from all the sort of data that it's had recently. But yeah, what would be perfect if you get these kind of balance days where you get the market that's kind of flatlined, because the deviation bands work really well in those scenarios. You know, like here, for instance, not necessarily a flat VWAP there, but we had the sort of reversal momentum there in the market. It comes back into VWAP there. So that's what I'm kind of looking to do here. Can we get some kind of VWAP pullback? You know, that was a really nice one there when it came back into these previous lows. The volatility is down at the minute. It's looking a bit flat in the US session, isn't it? A bit flat right now. See if anything else is kind of moving. Let me have a little look. Let's have a little look. Market movers. What is the biggest mover of the day? Apparently it's dollar yen. Dollar yen's the biggest move of the day, which makes sense. Volatility high in dollar yen. Starting to see a little bit of movement back to the upside here. Go to a candlestick chart. Yeah, look, it's just coming to that point of control from the 6th of May and has just rebounded from that. Bit of a bullish move going on there. Starting to see that yen weakness coming back into the market. I mean, days like this are kind of good. You know, you got accepted back into yesterday's value area, so 156 could be a good area to look for. Value area high of yesterday, especially if you're looking for, again, if you try and look for a bit of a mean reversion move or the move back down. If volatility is quite high on that currency and that pair at the moment, then you can often see a good reversion move. Let's head back to gold. Gold's starting to make a little bit of a move higher. Starting to give us a little bit of a move there. You can see that. Let me just zoom in on the volume profiles. At that value area. So we'll see. I want a bit of a consolidation, break, pull, fall back. And I can look to try and take a piece of the pie here. See if we do get that, start to see that development up towards VWAP there. Should probably put some music in the background for you guys, shouldn't I? Give you a little bit of something. Me just breathing down the mic. Any questions so far, guys, by the way? Sorry, I've just been kind of rattling on about the market. What's a VWAP? A VWAP is a volume weighted average price. So it kind of looks very similar to a Bollinger Band, right? But it takes into consideration the buying and the selling volume at the time. Now, it's a little bit different when you use it on a CFD. So basically, what it does to build, it takes the previous open, the high, the low, and the close, and then divides it by four, and that's where you get this VWAP. It's more used towards sort of stocks and futures markets. Um, because you have the data there essentially. But they've obviously developed it in a way where it's not too different. You know, if I was to go over to gold futures, which are here, you'll see it's not too dissimilar to what we're looking at the moment. Obviously, the volume profile is going to be really out of whack here because we're on a futures chart at the moment. But yeah, it's not too dissimilar at the moment. So yeah, but it's used a lot in the sort of futures markets, stock markets. It's more weighted to volume. So that's the sort of the average of the buying and the selling pressure in the market. Usually, if price is below VWAP, you want to be a seller. If price is above VWAP, you want to be a buyer. I like to use it on a mean reversion tool. A lot of algorithms are built around VWAP, and you see a lot of buying and selling going on around VWAP. So that's why you can see sometimes the market will oscillate through the main VWAP. And then what I've got here are basically just standard deviation lines. So trying to then think about mean reversion, you know, if the market has extended a significant way from the average, you know, I'm looking for that sort of ping back. You know, think of it as an elastic band. You pull away from the elastic band, it snaps back, right? That's what I like to look for. It's a helpful tool when it comes to day trading. Can be a helpful tool on the long-term side of things as well if you use the higher time frame ones. I've got an anchored VWAP on here as well. An anchored VWAP basically just means it's anchored to a point. And I anchor it to the start of the week so I can see how the buying and selling has gone throughout the week. If this gives me a little like 1, 2 down candle, little bullish candle, I like the idea of that. Hopefully that answered your question, Margo. I might do a little session on it soon. Can be used across the markets. Like I said, it is used a lot more primarily in stocks and stock indices, but it's definitely good in the futures market as well, currencies, commodities. I mean, it just looks a lot different to a Bollinger Band. So let me just I'll show you a Bollinger Band setup. You know, because you can't really get VWAP on MetaTrader. So, you know, you can argue and try and develop a bit of a Bollinger Band system instead. So you can have deviations on your Bollinger Band. So I actually have 2 Bollinger Bands with the 200 period moving average. And you can see here that I've got a 2 standard deviation band, and this one is a 3 standard deviation band of that. And what I like to look at is when price kind of comes into those deviations. You know, to me, price has moved quite away from the mean. So, you know, I'd look to potentially try and target back at the mean. So you can see here, come into the deviation bands. You know, that would be a bit of a losing move there if you were to look for the long from that period for whatever reason. You know, you could look for a little short there. Bands quite away. Aussie US dollar really far away from the bands at the moment. And that's on a 4 hour. Obviously, you can go up to higher time frames, daily, hourly. And if you want to use it from a sort of day trading scale, you could look at the 15-minute. We're starting to come back into that 200 moving average there now, so starting to get a little bit of a bounce from that point. But you could look to try and trade it back to the mean, essentially. That's what I'm trying to do, but using the volume weighted average price. And look, if you want to be gold long right now, this is a good area, right? Market's been down all day. We're at previous volume. I'm just not really seeing it kick in. Not seeing that volume kick in like I would like. If the 3-minute time frame down here can create like a little pullback, then maybe we can look for 0.25 position at 23.77 maybe. See if I can get sort of dragged into price if it were to go up, rather than try and getting it at the lows here. So it would look something like that. Stop below the low there. Target up at the VWAP. But we shall see. We'll see if we get another little bit of a move up. What we're coming up to? We're nearly coming up to an hour now, so not really the live stream I wanted. We had a little bit of a down move, which was nice initially. Seeing if we can get that bullish move now. Let me know what do you guys do as well? Do you prefer scalper in the markets? Do you prefer long-term trades? Let me know. Might be team scalper, team swing trade. It's definitely going to depend on how much time you have to dedicate to the markets, and I think if you are going to be a scalper, you've got to arguably be a little bit more on it. Yep, Bright Guy has to swing trade. Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough. Especially when my schedule gets really busy, I always go back to swing trading at that time. I've had a little bit of spare time in the afternoons recently, so been back scalping a little bit. This is where I really like to be in and out of the market. Another little push down and a bullish move would be interesting for me here. But it's just not looking like these buys are coming in right now. Not look like they're coming back in right now. But we shall see if we can get a little bit of a move higher. A little bit of a break in this structure. That would be nice. I'm going to set a 0.25 buy stop above that high. Just like the way this is kind of playing out here at the moment. Because we've had 30 minutes now of price just kind of sticking within this area, above that value area high. So we've not really gone anywhere in the past half an hour. We opened, we dropped, and we've just literally stuck here for 45 minutes, basically. Just nothing really going on. So is that sellers becoming exhausted here? And are we going to start to see that little bit of a snapback potentially? Or is it just lack of volatility today? No real US dollar drivers at the moment today. We've had them all at 130, not really anything major in that data. So, yeah, just a little bit of lack of oomph in the market right now, isn't there? See if I can get a buy stop there. If I can get a colour change on the Renko here back to the upside, I think I'd like the idea of that, because we're starting to see the sort of momentum slow, and then if we get a sort of bullish Renko there, that could be a catalyst to seeing a bit of a move higher as well. And that basically just tells me there's been a dollar fluctuation there, you know. So we'll see. Right, guy, I want long on pound and gold, but the price isn't there yet. Yeah, it's not here right now, is it? It's not here right now. Let me flick over to cable on my other chart. Yeah, been down all day as well on cable, haven't we? That's that dollar. We've seen that dollar strength come back a little bit today, which is interesting. No worries, CG. Yeah, I agree. Real lack of volume right now. Have a good weekend. I'll catch up with you guys next week as well. But yeah, looking at the US dollar index here, you know, we had a really good down day yesterday, and usually after that we can often see a little bit of a reversal to that price action. And we're in an interesting position here right now. You know, markets come back up into those lows. I quite like the idea of the dollar index heading down towards 104. Haven't quite tested that yet. We kind of came into those areas of resistance or support there, and yeah, just kind of seeing if we can get a little bit of a turnover here in the US dollar again. See if we can get a little bit of a punch up. Let's have a little look at currency strength and weakness. Dollar is where's the dollar? Dollar's the stronger currency at the moment. See if we get filled on a little low risk move. If we do, then I'll be looking to try and target back up at VWAP. We'll see if we can kind of get a little bit higher, you know, see if we get that kind of pullback. A little bit more of a sort of 1 to 1, 1.3, 1.2 trade there. So, you know, a little bit of a riskier trade there, to be honest. But we'll see if we just get a little bit of a move up is what I'm looking for. Maybe a little bit of a move back up towards those higher volumes, but going to be a little tricky one, I think, here. No real oomph behind it. No worries, right, guy. Catch you later. Thanks to you too. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we'll see how that one plays out, guys. I'll let you know. I'll update you maybe tomorrow or something. I'm going to call it there. There's a little lack of oomph from the market here at the moment, which, you know, I would like to see a bit more upside volume coming in here, but we're not really seeing it. I've took a little trade there, 0.25 trade there. See if we can get that break higher, but it's a like I said, this is the higher probability of you getting sort of stopped out that initial sort of push. So I'll see if we can hold. You know, what I would like to have seen really is for the next candle to have flushed that high. Again, we're not really seeing that. So depending on how this goes, I might cut this one a little bit early if it starts to drop back towards the level again. Always look to get back in, obviously, if it does give me what I want to see. But we'll see. But ideally, if we can try and get back up into this volume area here, up in towards that VWAP, you know, all the volume of the day so far is above where price is at the moment. So just looking to see if we get that kind of pushback on the mean reversion there. So thank you guys for joining me. If you could leave the stream a like, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for joining me as usual. I will catch you all next week. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.